to begin our practice. Welcome everyone. Happy New Year. This is Recovery Dharma, and my name is Julia. I'm one of the facilitators of the Spokane Sangha, and it is such a precious privilege to be here today. What an amazing thing. Happy New Year. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, in the Spokane Sangha, we have done something a little unique, and that is that we take Buddhist practices and principles and we explore them for an entire month. And this is a way of really kind of sinking our teeth in a delicious nibble of this incredible wisdom to determine how is it coming alive in me, in you. And so for 2026, I wanted to create a year-long practice that brought us back to our roots, the foundation, and strengthening our foundation to stand before the uncertainty of life, to stand before the newness of this year, and to stand with courage and confidence, to have a bit of clarity in the mind and the heart, and then to create enough openness where we can be surprised by the wonder of life and the joy of life. So what we're going to explore this year are the Four Noble Truths and the Noble Eightfold Path. But we're going to do it in a reimagined way. And I'd like to bring forward language that is unique as a way of drawing ourselves into these ancient practices, but putting a contemporary flavor on it. You can read about that, and there's a flyer that we've posted on our website under the Recovery Dharma page, so you can see what I'm talking about. We have a Sangha member who occasionally points out that the first noble truth, while true, is a little heavy-handed. There is suffering. Oh. Yikes, what a way to start the new year, right? How am I going to suffer now? What's going to arise in my life that brings misery and despair? Heavy-handed, peeps. It feels like a lot of pressure. And there isn't only suffering, is there? There's also quite a bit of healing and beauty. So one of the things that I'd like to bring forward today in our exploration, and this is going to be a theme that unfolds for the entire year, is the concept of duality. There is either suffering or there's healing. Toggle back and forth. I'm either in misery or I'm in joy. I'm in pain or I'm experiencing something pleasant. That's the dualistic mind. And we actually create a great deal of confusion and misery in our lives when we are caught by our pain and misery, and we're either swirling around in it or doing everything we can to avoid it, or we're chasing after the things that we want. We're attaching ourselves, clinging, gripping to the things that feel good. In both instances, we're miserable because the nature of reality is impermanent. Everything's going to change. So the trick is, how can we find the middle way? And not be in the middle like in a linear, rigid, strict kind of way, but in the middle with a little bit of suppleness. You know, you can even move your body like I'm moving my body. You know, I'm just wiggling side to side and I'm letting my head bobble side to side because this is my life. I'm sad some days and I'm kind of meh, and then the next part of the day maybe I'm happy, and I don't know always know why. Varying conditions, right? And the reason why we want a little bit of this suppleness is when the big things happen, say an illness or an injury that takes some time, questions my faithfulness and my relationship with time, my patience. It's hard to remember that things are impermanent when you're really sick or you're injured. You've lost your identity. Maybe you can't work. Things are very, very challenging. It feels like it's going to go on and on and on. And it's hard to remember that just on the other side of this, there are these pleasant small wonders that we always have access to. And so this is a practice of creating some flexibility to know that I'm going to be uncomfortable in this life. That is the nature of reality. And I can find creative ways to bring me back toward comfort and ease. And the manner in which, the fluidity in which I can move from one extreme to the other reflects my practice. So let's do that together, friends. Come into your body. Right now, turn your gaze inward. You can even close your eyes. You can turn your camera off if you want to. And find a posture in your body that feels ease. I'm sitting in a computer chair, and I don't really like this chair. You'd think by now, I complain about it all the time. You'd think that I would get up and get myself a different chair, but no, I never seem to make that change. I just sort of deal with the discomfort. So, and I don't really know what it is about this chair that I don't like. But I sit in it, I can't seem to sit in this chair without feeling like I'm leaning forward a little bit. And so I'm going to move my body so that I can sit more upright. And it will help if I sit toward the edge of my chair. I'm going to have my feet planted gently on the ground. And I notice that my hands want to be interlaced, but the tops of my thumbs are touching. You can see my hands here. And I'm going to rest them in my lap. I'm noticing that my shoulders have rolled forward a little bit, and I'm going to sit with that for a moment. It's not particularly comfortable. It's a little bit slouchy, but rather than hurry up and change it, I just want to sit with it for a moment and get to know my slouchy shoulders. And see if you can get to know any posture in your body that doesn't feel comfortable. That's the first noble truth. There is discomfort. So get to know your discomfort. My eyes have been a bit dry. In the Pacific Northwest where I live, the winters are pretty dry air in my house from the heaters. I live in a high desert, so by nature there isn't a lot of humidity in the air. So it's such a relief to close my eyes. And I'm going to sit with that discomfort for a moment. Last night, I had a nice supper, but I had a bit of heartburn. And so I'm bringing my attention to that part of my body that experiences heartburn on occasion. And I'm smiling because I don't have that in this moment, and that's a relief. No discomfort there. That's the dualistic partner to discomfort. Where there is discomfort, there is also comfort. And learning to be supple is learning to notice and acknowledge my discomfort and my comforts. And to do so with equanimity. Equanimity is one of the limitless qualities we learn about in our Buddhist practice. It means inclusivity. It's our capacity to observe and acknowledge it all, the good, the bad, the neutral, and to cultivate an observer that can see this. Oh, yeah, discomfort in my shoulders because they're still rolled forward, but comfort in my heart area and throat because there's no heartburn. Hooray. I'm going to keep my eyes closed, friends. And now I'm going to make an intentional movement in the body to bring some ease to my shoulders. With my shoulders rolled forward, I can feel the muscles in my upper back. I can feel some tension there. And I'm going to invite those muscles to move and invite the muscles in the front of my body to move and stretch. And I'm going to do so really slowly and gently. I'm going to ask them to move like I would ask a friend to scooch out of the way a little bit. And I'm just going to marvel at my body. Take a moment to see my discomfort as temporary. And I have agency over that. And so what I'm going to do for my body, and I invite you to join me if you're sharing the same kinds of discomfort in the shoulders, is I'm going to roll my shoulders up toward my ears, just along the sides of my neck. I'm going to keep my hands interlaced and my thumbs touching. And I'm just going to hang out here, slunched up, and then I'm going to release my hands and very gently roll my shoulders back and down. And I'm exaggerating the posture a little bit so I can really feel it in the front muscles around my collarbones and in my back muscles around my shoulder blades. And I'm going to bring my shoulders down again completely, curl them forward as I was sitting before, roll them up toward my ears and roll them back. I'm going to do that one more time, and then I'm going to do it 3 times in the opposite direction, using my breath to guide me. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Other direction. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Inhaling up, exhaling down. I'm noticing as I inhale up in this opposite rotation, I feel a little bit of tension in my left shoulder muscle along the top of my shoulder. And I'm just noticing, oh, there you are, discomfort. Okay. Rolling down on the exhalation. One more time for good measure. Up and down. I'm going to interlace my hands once again. And I'm going to keep my shoulders rolled back, open in the chest, my heart's lifted, and I'm sitting nice and tall. My belly is soft. My feet are planted in such a way that I feel kind of bouncy in my seat, feel kind of light. My eyes are still closed. And I invite us to breathe together, breathing in, breathing out. The first noble truth, dukkha. There is suffering. There is dissatisfaction, discomfort, confusion. There is also healing, comfort, clarity. Both are alive in me. Both teach me ways and manners in which I can grow and mature. Bring your attention gently, now that the body is anchored, to your emotions. That wonderful inner sacred world of emotionality. Check in with your mood today. It's the new year. Lots of possibility and uncertainty. We have just stepped through the threshold. There's so much waiting to unfold. The possibilities are immense. And normally, when I stand before the brightness of that, I feel energized and light. And for some reason, my mood this morning has been shrouded in a whopping wet blanket of meh. No idea why. That's just what's real for me. Meh. So there it is. A little bit of meh. And I also feel, as I've spoken about the possibility of the new year, and I can feel the brightness on my face, and it's just coming forward involuntarily as a smile. I can't help myself. It's a bit irrepressible. So there's also an irrepressible mood that lives beside my meh. Take a sneaky peek at your thoughts, your mind. Just be gentle about it. Maybe you have a thought that's snuck in on a whisper that says you're not very good at meditating. It's questioning what this Buddhist stuff is all about. Or maybe you've been telling yourself a story about craving. Or maybe you have a haunting around the new year. Maybe there's a memory that sort of circles around you, a little bit menacing, maybe a little bit threatening. It's a very unpleasant thought, memory, and story that's very real for so many people. And then I would just gently encourage you to come into this moment. It's not as a means to discourage or dismiss the ghosts of our past, the hauntings they leave as impressions and memories, the opportunities they afford for growth and healing, but it's an intentional way of acknowledging that while there are scary, threatening things in our minds and our thoughts and stories, we are here with a community of wise friends who, just like me, want to gain access to a deeper understanding of themselves. Not only to heal, but to become an instrument of peace, to become of benefit to a world that needs more healing. It begins with me, it begins with you, and I'm with so many people just like me. And golly, if that isn't a hopeful thought, I don't know what is. And that restores a smile to my face, and it brings forward a light and shy illumination for any darkness that might be lingering in my thoughts and stories. Today, friends, we have touched upon the first noble truth. We've done so bringing forward dualism and non-dualism by simply recognizing the nature of good and bad, discomfort and comfort. And we've been able to explore it in our first-person experience using the four foundations of mindfulness: our bodies, our emotions, our thoughts, and stories. This is a profound practice that we've been able to do together. How lucky are we? Breathing in, breathing out. Friends, let's end our meditation practice today by chanting just one time a sweet little chant honoring the three jewels: the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. This chant's very easy. You can chant with me. It goes Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, and Namo Sanghaya. If you know it, join me. You can bring your hands together in prayer pose if that feels comfortable to you. Breathing in. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya. Oh, so good. You know, today let's have a little homework. And what I'd love to encourage you to do, and I'm telling you this because I need to do this for myself, is you know, I was listening to Lo talk about, and even Michelle talk about, our propensity for negativity. And I think that's a survival tactic. You know, when you really think about it, our survival has been dependent upon looking for threats and anticipating them and preparing for them and staving them off and so forth. And so it's hard to take a moment to see all the wonders of life, even though the wonders of life are always there. And it makes me think of a walk that I took with Lo one time around my property. I live out in the country, and we were wandering the prairie, and there was a giant ponderosa pine tree that was dropping its pine cones, and I picked one up and pulled out some of the pine cone leaves, if you will, pieces, and out popped a little pine nut, little pine seed. And Lo was like, what? What? Like, how? What? And it was just that moment of, oh, right, these little small wonders are always, always there. Just like, yo, pay attention. So that's your invitation today. Go out and pay attention and be grabbed by something that wants to share in your wonder. Okay, let's go ahead, friends, and end our practice today with a dedication of merit. Are we recording, Lo? Okay. I'd like to share with you this book. This is Thich Nhat Hanh's Moments of Mindfulness. It's well loved. Can you see all the coffee stains on it and schmutza? Moments of Mindfulness. This is number 36, and it's one of my favorites. Come back to a posture in your body that feels at ease. Maybe see if you can feel a smile, a gentle smile on your face, and see if you can drop that smile down toward the level of the heart and feel a warming there. Feel a softening there. Thich Nhat Hanh writes, everyone has the capacity to wake up, to understand, and to love. That's you and me and everyone else. May your awakenings be gentle, and should they ever be harsh, may the balm of your wisdom bring some ease. May your understanding guide you in faith, confidence, and clarity. And may the invitations to love and to be loved be limitless and irrepressibly joyful. Thank you for your practice today, friends. We'll see you next time, maybe even tomorrow. Namaste.